We are following some breaking news, guys. Firefighters are on the scene of a huge fire right now. As you can see, our reporter Candace Charles just got to the scene. So we're giving you a look at this. As you can see, a very active scene. All we know right now is that this is at the corner of Earhart and Eagle Street.
And looking at the flames right now, it looks terrible out there. Do we know in the control room Candace is getting ready for that? We will be hearing from Candace in a few minutes, but as the camera tilts up, boy, that fire is really going. Candace, you just got there a few minutes ago. There's just one house?
Yeah, I just got here a few minutes ago. Started speaking to some of the residents here. They tell me that these two homes here were abandoned, but they hadn't been boarded up since Katrina, and that people were coming in and out of the building over the last few years. The police have come here several times to get people out of the building. They say about 40 minutes ago they started to hear some pops. It sounded like electrical pops, and then they heard the fire trucks, and as you can see, it spread to two homes here. But it looks like the ones next to them are also at risk of getting on fire. A couple of the trees next to the homes, right in between these homes here, are starting to catch as well. As you see, there are multiple crews here on the scene working to get some of these pop-up flames out. That's always the huge concern at the top of the houses, usually where there is a lot of flames, and as you can see, that is where a lot of that smoke is coming from right now. Some of the people in the neighborhood have told me that their power started to flicker a little bit when the fire started, but again, their electricity is currently on, and they're currently working to extinguish this fire. I'm working to learn a little bit more, you guys. Give me a little bit of time, and I'll have some more details with you guys in about 20 minutes for you.
All right, thank you very much, but boy, that is a horrible fire there.
Definitely, and as you can see, not anywhere near under control, so we are continuing to monitor this situation. Candace, I don't know if you can still hear us, but I'm wondering how many fire trucks you can see from where you are.
Right now, I see about 5 fire trucks here right now. They have a lot of guys here working on extinguishing these two fires. As I said, it looks like there are 2 homes that are currently on fire. I'm also seeing some electrical wiring hanging down next to one of the homes on fire, so I think that might be a little bit of concern. But like I said, at this time, everyone's power is currently on. Wow, okay, one of the buildings, it looks like it may have been 3 homes actually. One of the buildings in between 2 of the homes is completely burned down at this point. It looks like the last building on the corner here was boarded up. A lot of the smoke is contained to the top of the home. Yeah, it's a lot of damage on this last home here on the corner of, I'm gonna say Kalipasa. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly here for you guys. Again, I'm working to learn a few more details. Like I said, some of the people in the neighborhood told me that these homes were abandoned, but that folks were either squatting or coming in and out of the homes over the last couple of years since Katrina happened. The homes hadn't been boarded up, and the police have constantly tried to get folks out of the homes. You can hear some of those pops right now as these guys work on trying to extinguish this fire. You can already tell that they're exhausted at this point. I can feel the heat right now. It's quite hot, even from just across the street.
And Candace, that fire is well underway. Do we know how fast the fire department was able to respond? And as like in a lot of neighborhoods, those houses are so close together. I guess the hard part is keeping it from spreading to homes that are actually occupied as opposed to the unoccupied homes you say are burning.
Well, it looks like they got here rather quickly. They haven't had to evacuate any of the other homes on this street. Like I said, it's quite hot even across the street, but folks are still outside of their home kind of checking out the scene right now, seeing what's happening. And some of the folks are even hosing down their own cars to make sure that the flames don't come over to this side of the street. Again, most of these homes are abandoned, so there aren't any folks on that side of the street where the fire is that they need to evacuate at this time, thankfully. There is a home and a church, maybe a couple houses down from the 3 homes that are currently on fire. Again, I'm working to learn a little bit more details. right now. And again, like I said, we have a couple of people outside hosing off their cars to ensure that the fire doesn't spread to their home as well.
Yeah, not sure how much good that'll do, but you're in the neighborhood by Eagle and Calapissa, which is close to the Earhart Expressway. That is a neighborhood a lot of people are familiar with.
Yeah, in the Hollygrove area, if you're just joining us and watching this massive fire that Candace Charles, our reporter, just got on the scene and says it appears that it's affecting 2 or 3 homes. As you can see, the fire truck is blocking her view and ours to see how many homes are affected. But we are hearing from neighbors that these homes were not occupied, which is a good thing, though they say they've seen people going in and out, so we haven't confirmed whether or not anyone was inside or has been injured.
And clearly that house is going to be a total loss. I mean, it's totally engulfed in flames. Now, the houses that you say are by it, are they next to it and behind it, or both?
The houses are really close to it. Honestly, most of the neighborhoods in New Orleans are kind of built in this way where these houses are right next to each other, which makes it really difficult to extinguish these fires at times because they spread so quickly. As I said, I don't know if you can see the second home here, but it's completely burned down, and it was just feet away from the first home that looks like that started the fire here. We don't know exactly which home started the fire, but it looks like I said, it started with this first home you're looking at right now, and that second home right in the middle is completely burned down.
All right, Candace. And those houses are not as close as a lot of houses are in some neighborhoods.
Right. What's also, we often get to the scene when firefighters are near getting this under control, and we're just watching for hot spots. Yeah, this doesn't seem anywhere near under control. And I know you were mentioning, Candace, you can even feel the heat across the street.
Yeah, you can feel the heat across the street, a lot of smoke in there. Honestly, we were just down the street doing a different story, and we saw the fire trucks, but really, the first thing we saw was the huge cloud of smoke. You can see this from miles away, you guys. It's definitely a sign to not come to this area if you can avoid it. If you don't know anyone in this area, definitely just stay out of the area. It's not safe to be over here at this point. Again, these houses are rather close, so I think that's often the problem with putting out these fires. It's kind of, you don't know how much this is going to spread. It looks like they've gone ahead and put a little bit of a barrier, maybe a little fence around the home here to the right. I believe you're looking at the one that's completely burned down, but the home next to that, they put a little fence around it to make sure that the bush right next to that home doesn't start flaming up and burn that home next to it that's also abandoned at this point.
And now that we get a better look at that, you see there are 3 homes there right in a row. That looked like a distance in between. So it's 3 houses, that one in the middle completely gone.
Right.
And when you watch the firemen work, they go about this in a very, very organized fashion. When they come out there, the chief on the scene will put out a list of everybody who's out there. They have indicators for everybody who's fighting the fire, because when their fire guys go in, they want to make sure everybody is accounted for.
Definitely.
Because, I mean, what they're doing is very dangerous work.
It certainly is. Candace has mentioned how hot she feels. Imagine them in those suits. They're so close to the fire trying to put it out. And again, this one is starting to look like it is a little more under control, but you can still see huge flames coming out of this house and the other one.
But boy, that middle one is just obliterated.
Completely gone. It looks like the framing of what was a porch still there.
Yeah, and they're going to keep on keeping the water on this fire. You can see now it's starting to change a different color of smoke, which usually indicates that they're getting somewhat of a control of it. Now, we were just, like 5-6 minutes ago, there were huge flames in both these homes. You can see a bit.
And you can
on
still
the one
see
on
some
the
in
left,
the back,
in the back. But they are getting a handle on it. But boy, this is tough work.
Candace, you mentioned seeing some folks outside. Are you seeing more neighbors come outside? Can you tell where the next occupied home is closest to these?
Yeah, it looks like it's a couple of houses down. Folks have told me here that many of these homes that you're looking at right now were not occupied, including the one right next to this home right over here. I think you can see it right now. And there's another home right next to it that looks like it was just getting rebuilt. Looks fairly new. That one's not occupied either, but there's a home right next to that one that is occupied, and a church right next to that home. As I said, folks are starting to come out and assess the situation and make sure that their belongings are going to be okay. Entergy's actually on the scene here as well. I'm guessing they've gone ahead and cut the power on that side of the street. I've spoken to some of the people in the neighborhood. No one really wants to go on camera at this point as they're trying to make sure that their homes and their belongings are going to be okay. But they mentioned, like I said, that these homes have been occupied quite some time. It sounds like since Katrina, that they were never boarded up and that people have constantly either tried to squat in there or come in and out of the homes. So it really is unknown how this fire got started, but definitely we'll hopefully be getting some details about that investigation today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
It looks like the fire is starting to get contained. Again, the big problem is usually those pop-up flames inside of the home. These guys are going a little bit deeper into the home now that they can, now that some of the flames have been extinguished at the front of the home here. But these homes are not small. They're not small homes, so they kind of have a little bit of ways to go towards the back of the home to make sure that these fire pop-ups don't continue to flame up. It doesn't look like these homes are too sturdy either. I think a couple of people have told me that they're rather thin homes too, so that doesn't help with, trying to put out the fire as well.
And Candace,
Eric?
you mentioned the fire in the back. I mean, do you have, from your vantage point, have you been able to see if firefighters were able to get around the corner and get behind, because there are houses behind these houses too?
No, it doesn't look like they've been able to get too far behind. There's just so much smoke. I think they're really trying to deal with the front of the homes at this time and make sure that they can extinguish these pop-up flames before going any further.
Definitely. And we have been watching this for a couple minutes now, as we've said, noticing less flames, at least from this first house that firefighters seem to be focusing on right now. If you are just joining us, this is in the Hollygrove area on Eagle Street at the corner of Calapisa, and we're watching what appears to be 3 homes burn. One in the middle seems to be completely burned down already. This one on the left still has some flames in the back if you focus there, but when we first came to the scene just a few minutes ago, complete flames had engulfed this home and the one to the right.
And a lot of people are kind of familiar with this area. It's kind of a shortcut getting over to the Earhart Expressway, cutting through this neighborhood. But this is a big fire, 3 homes engulfed. You see some flames flaring up in the back of that house right now.
Right, and Candace said about 5 fire trucks there. Have you seen any more come to the scene, Candace?
Yeah, I have actually. This scene has grown quite a bit since then. I'd say maybe 2 or 3 more have showed up. It looks like they've even have the investigator already on the scene as well. So hopefully we'll be getting some details and speaking with either the chief or that investigator sometime soon. Again, these homes have been abandoned, according to the residents here, for quite some time. They said that they were never boarded up since Katrina, and folks have been coming in and out of the homes over the last few years. So much so that they've had the police come down here and get some of the people out of the homes. Again, the homes next to them are also abandoned. The first home that is occupied is maybe 2 or 3 homes down. Right next to that home is also a church. So it's quite a scene here. A lot of folks are outside taking pictures, videos, and also just making sure that their belongings are going to be okay.
Yeah, and the back of that third house, you can see is starting to flare up again. A lot of times in these smaller homes, shotgun homes, you'll see kitchens in the back, so you wonder if maybe that's something in the kitchen going up. Water heaters sometimes are in the back of homes like that, and if they're gas, hopefully they've shut off the gas and electricity to those areas. But if they've been abandoned, probably the gas has been shut off anyway. But something is starting to flare up in the back of that house that it looked like they were getting it under control, and it's just going back up in flames right now.
Yeah, and again, this is still such an active scene. There's a lot we still don't know. The cause of
we
this
don't know,
fire.
yeah.
We don't. We also, are hearing that these homes were unoccupied, that people were in and out of them. We haven't gotten any confirmation if there's anyone who was inside, if they got out safely, if there were any injuries or anything like that. As you can see, it is still a very active scene as firefighters really fight to just get this under control and get those huge flames out.
Yeah, and for a while it looked like they got a fairly good handle on it, but boy, the back of that house is really going up. As Shiva mentioned, if you're just joining us, 3 homes on Eagle Street near Calapisa. which is close to the Earhart Expressway, up in flames this morning. All three will likely be total losses. Clearly the one on the center is gone, and the one on the right we're watching, but you can see smoke all over the city right now.
Oh my
and
goodness.
when you've been around a fire like that, and I know you have, Sheba, but the smell just lingers for so long.
Yeah, and listen, what Candace has been saying is this is an area that many of the houses were never redeveloped again after Katrina. You know, we still have some pockets of that in the city, so you'll see unoccupied houses that then become spaces where people go in and out of, and this is the result, unfortunately, many times.